So signs of termite activity, something that's really going to be common to look for on any structure is wood rot. So, over the years, your house is going to age, the wood's going to deteriorate, and as it does, that becomes what's known as a conducive condition. We'll go ahead and cover a few conducive conditions, but let's start with wood rot. So you'll see the wood starts to warp and bow a little bit, and it's very common near the exterior where the garage is. Over the years, the natural weathering, the sun, rain, whatnot's going to deteriorate the exposed wood. So you're going to see that in places near the back door, window seals, as well as near the garage. So you might start seeing the wood rot evidenced in the bowing or kind of a bubbling of the wood. And then over time, you might start seeing little pockets that are coming through the paint, accumulating with larger gaps that you can even possibly stick your finger through, or just you could break the wood away. Termites love that because that is soft wood, meaning it's not going to be as difficult as, say, the new treated lumber that was just purchased from the store. Those do have, or that lumber has been treated specifically for termites to help prevent it. While it's not 100% foolproof method, it is a good deterrent. So with wood rot being one of the key conducive conditions, you're going to want to keep an eye out for that once again near the windows, back doors, or any place that's constantly exposed to rain or splashback, like the driveway when it splashes back onto the base of the garage door near the perimeter, the border. So keep an eye on that, as well as you may see the bowing on the inside, because if the termites get in from the windowsill, they may nest just below that windowsill, and over time you might see evidence of that same bubbling or rippling in the wood. That's the weakening of the wood due to the termite damage, and eventually you may even see those same pockets where the wood's been eaten up to the point where the paint is falling through or it's becoming exposed, these galleries where the termites are now living in the windowsill. Other things to look for on the property are going to be wood piles or debris piles. Some people use decorative logs in the mulch bed out front. It's not a good idea because that has all the favorite conditions that termites are looking for. It has a food source and it has a water source, because that water source, that mulch bed, has trapped moisture. And so they have water and food, and they are butted right up next to your house. So any debris piles, wood piles, any brush that's been cut away, firewood, don't stack it near the house. If you do stack it near the house, you're going to want to pull it away a little bit and elevate it on something dry. Cinder blocks, a wood rack, anything that's going to prevent the termites from coming up from the soil and directly touching that wood. That's called wood to ground contact when it's part of the structure. So if you have wood on the structure and that wood is touching the soil, that is a big no-no as well, because they can come up directly from the soil onto the structure, and that's going to be a little highway for them to get directly into your residence. So that's something that we're going to want to avoid. All right, so another conducive condition is high soil. Your foundation should be exposed at least 4 to 6 inches. So if the soil is too high, and oftentimes people will build over the years decorative beds, flower beds, add mulch, and as that soil exceeds the foundation elevation, then you really start risking and exposing yourself to possible termite infestation, because they'll come up directly from the soil into what are known as weep holes. I'm sure you've seen them. They're the little gaps between the bricks at the base of the foundation going around the perimeter of your residence. It's very popular now with new builds, new residences, that there are weep holes up high as well. But as far as the weep holes closer to the soil or the foundation, as that soil gets built up over the years, you risk them coming up directly from the soil into those weep holes, and it will act as, once again, a highway directly into your residence. So we want to keep the soil low, 4 to 6 inches. You want a good clearance. Also, you want to ensure that there is no wood along the foundation of the home. So keep a clear perimeter around the foundation, Ensure that it stays dry if possible. Make sure that your gutters are working effectively and it's diverting the water away from the foundation. So in regards to flower beds or just the perimeter of the house in general, we're going to want to make sure that the gutters are diverting the water away from the foundation so we can ensure that it's dry long term. If it rains, it's going to dry up within the day, maybe two, whatever the case. But if you have an excessive amount of organic matter that's built up on that mulch bed or the flower beds, that's also something that or pretty much you're inviting the termites to come hang out at your house right there at the foundation of your home. So if you are going to mulch it, keep the mulch low. So at the beginning of the year, go ahead and you're going to want to remove the mulch, probably lower the soil a little bit, give yourself a 4 to 6 inch clearance. And then if you do build up the mulch bed again, ensure that you're getting rid of the organic matter, leaves, things like that that have accumulated since last year, since last time you've been in the garden. If you're going to build that mulch bed up, try to give yourself a clearance, 4 to 6 inches if possible. If not, you still want to be able to see the foundation so that upon preliminary inspection, you can see whether or not termites have created the little mud tubes going up into the weep holes. It's very common in our area. So just ensure that you give yourself that clearance. Something else that you're going to want to look out for is what are known as form boards. So if by the structure you've had a patio or a deck poured or built, we want to ensure that the portions of wood that were created as the form for the patio or the structure, that those have been removed after that concrete's dried. If the form board remains there long term, over time it's going to be the same with any other portions of the house. That's considered wood to ground contact, and that is an invitation for termites to come feast on that wood that's adjoining your structure, your residence. So want to be very cautious of that.